The best Stranger Things references. How many did you spot? From its first trailer, Stranger Things teased audiences with fleeting glimpses of a science fiction story promising a nostalgic trip to the 1980s and 1990s. No one could have imagined just how jam-packed with nods, winks, and references the series would be. The work of Steven Spielberg, Stephen King, and John Carpenter, to name a few, serves as a pop cultural buffet with nods to their work sprinkled throughout the series by the show's creators, the Duffer Brothers. Now is as good a time as any to learn all about the best Stranger Things pop culture references so far. So here are the best Stranger Things references throughout the first 3 seasons.
E.T., 1982. Hawkins' leafy, suburban location and its clutch of teens seeking adventure under cover of darkness. One of the show's biggest homages steals from Steven Spielberg's E.T. Aside from the visual links, the emotional connection between Mike, Finn Wolfhard, and 11, Millie Bobby Brown, is styled after Elliot and E.T.'s relationship. Similarly, the lead group's friendship is born out of mystery as the gang hides 11 from their parents. The show seals the deal by dressing 11 up in a dress and wig much like E.T.
Aliens, 1986. Season 2 finds the Hawkins lab employees wielding flamethrowers as a way to destroy creatures from the Upside Down threatening to enter our world. Their behavior, as well as how these sequences are filmed, echoes the Marines of James Cameron's Aliens, who stalk the xenomorphs in confined quarters. Extra mentions: one Hawkins employee utters Hicks' now iconic line, "Stay frosty."
Carrie, 1976. Eleven's response to Mike and Lucas, Caleb McLaughlin, fighting in the junkyard is directly influenced by Carrie. Stephen King's story of a teenage girl outcast from society is copied in the way Eleven responds to her environment. Like Carrie, she too struggles to control her powers, as evidenced by the way she sends Lucas flying across the junkyard. Much like Carrie sends a young boy careening from his bicycle. Extra mentions: Carrie's hand shooting up from her grave and clutches Sue Snell's arm is replicated at the end of Season 1. As Nancy, Natalia Dyer's hand bursts free of the Upside Down.
A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. In order to face the monstrous Demogorgon, Eleven goes into a sensory deprivation tank to access the Upside Down but needs a trusty friend to retrieve her if she's in trouble. The Duffers based Season 1 on this terrifying premise influenced by Wes Craven's original Freddy flick. The teens are stalked by an entity able to appear at any time, and, as Joyce experiences, it's able to push through matter much like Freddy does to Nancy Thompson during bath time.
Stand By Me, 1986. During the casting process, the Duffers asked the young cast to read lines from Rob Reiner's Stand By Me. For fans of the film and the Stephen King novella, it's no surprise, Stranger Things shares both a bittersweet nostalgic tone and overarching theme. A coming-of-age story of teens on the precipice of adulthood encountering extraordinary circumstances. A couple of visual references sneak in too, in Season 1 and Season 2, where the kids walk along train tracks.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977. Joyce's experiences as she copes with her missing son mirror those of Richard Dreyfuss' character in Close Encounters. He sculpts mashed potatoes to resemble Devil's Tower and piles dirt in his house. She pulls together Christmas lights and a makeshift Ouija board to contact Will. The biggest nod arrives in Season 2 as Will opens the front door onto an apocalyptic hellscape. A direct homage to the same visual in Spielberg's classic. This iconic moment was used on the poster for Season 2.
Scanners, 1981. While Eleven's powers sneak influence from King, the Duffers sought the work of body horror maestro David Cronenberg for inspiration on how she might weaponize them. In Season 1, Eleven melts the minds of government agents in homage to Scanners.
Altered States, 1980. When it's time to hunt the Demogorgon, Eleven enters a sensory deprivation tank to better access the Upside Down. Nodes attached to her head, she's immersed into a chamber with a spin lock. A direct visual reference to Ken Russell's Altered States, where William Hurt's character undergoes a similar experience.
They Live, 1988. Jonathan, Charlie Heaton, and Steve, Joe Keery, duke it out down an alleyway toward the end of Season 1. In a skirmish over graffiti about Nancy, The pair go at it the same way Roddy Piper and Keith David do in John Carpenter's They Live. Albeit, not for quite as long.
The Thing, 1982. John Carpenter's creature in The Thing desires every being it encounters. Season 3's Mind Flayer functions much the same by wanting to assimilate every citizen of Hawkins into its giant corporeal mush. It also shies away from fire, as evidenced in Season 2 when it's attacked by flamethrowers. Extra mentions: Lucas references the movie in Season 3's final Mal battle. Mike has a poster for the film up in his basement, and the kid's teacher is shown watching the movie at home.
Predator, 1988. The Demogorgon shares physical traits with the Predator. The way it walks, the way its mouth opens into 4 quadrants, and the eerie, bone-chilling click it makes before it attacks its prey. Extra mentions: the Duffers crammed in a slew of Predator character names into the show. Jim Hopper features, Dutch Schaefer becomes Rick Schaefer, and the town of Hawkins is also a member of the unit.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's my line.
Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all!
That's all, folks!